somewhere that finally feels like home. Oh, oh, oh. I hate all this overthinking. Oh, 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 oh. The more I swim, the more I'm sinking. Take me to a world of silver. No more heartbreaks, tears, painkillers. Take me somewhere unfamiliar. Bring me back to where we started out. Get me out of now. To where we started out. Get me out of now. To where we started out. La 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 la. Oh, oh. Get me out of broken hearts and starting fights, turning truth to lies. Gotta get up, stop wasting time. Yeah, I wanna run off and fly. And I'll tell myself it's fine to be alone, just to find somewhere that finally feels like home. Oh, oh, oh. I hate all this overthinking. Oh, 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 oh. The more I swim, the more I'm sinking. Take me to a world of silver. No more heartbreaks, tears, painkillers. Take me somewhere unfamiliar. Bring me back to where we started out. Get me out of now. To where we started out. Get me out of now. To where we started out. Oh no.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Valorant Game Changers Academy September edition, presented by Verizon and sponsored by AIM Labs. I am your host, Saki, and joined with me here on the desk today is Tala and Zach. How are you doing today, Tala?
Well, I'm doing pretty well. We're getting into the next round of the bracket, which I am pretty excited for. It's still round of 16, and I mean, Game Changers Academy always really exciting whenever it comes around every single month. Such a good opportunity to showcase so much talent in the Game Changers scene.
And something I really want to compliment right now is your little mic that you have. You're ready to drop the mic on whichever team is about to play very soon. And Zach, just checking up on you a little bit. We casted last match. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well, actually. And to recap for those who are just joining us, we just got done with one particular match. It was ID Ruby versus Tactical Throwers. Tactical Throwers, they won the best of 3, 2-0 in a dominating fashion, with the scores being 13-4 on Icebox and 13-5 on Haven. So they're probably feeling very pleased with themselves right now, just like the rest of us are to be here casting this particular event.
And making our way into the upper bracket, we're going to be looking at Solaire, a team that has always carried their names towards the top versus skill issue. What can you tell me about skill issue, Epitomes?
Well, Skill Issue, they have got some pretty reliable players that we have seen around the scene, but I definitely don't think that they've been really a team together as much as Solaire has been, and Solaire obviously just a pretty reliable team overall. We've got some staple players like Taro, who has been playing on Solaire for a while, and she's definitely incredibly reliable. On the other side, you have a few of the MILF players like Alpine and Esme, and the MILF team recently did put themselves on competitive hiatus, but just having two players who have played together before and kind of have that sort of synergy and are able to gel together a little bit better can definitely help take your team to the next level, as well as having that competitive experience.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to clarify a little bit. When you say MILF, you mean man, I love flogs, right? Right. Please
Yes,
tell me.
that is exactly what I mean. Man, I love vlogs.
Absolutely. And any thoughts on your part, Zach?
Yes, I think that Solaire is a team that we've been seeing over the course of the last few months, coming time and time again in those upper brackets in Game Changers Academy. In fact, they've just not made a good showing in Academy. They've also made their headway into, I think, the top 16 for the main Game Changers events as well. So they're definitely one of the teams to really watch out for. And they did get a little bit of an upgrade from the players, so as to speak, as we talked about. Man, I love Fogs. All's good. I think that Solaire, they are the favorites heading to this particular event as well. I think that yesterday when we were casting Priya and you and I, we did say that Solaire versus the Dart Monkeys is the final that everybody would probably be excited to watch. So yeah, I'm excited to be casting one of their games. This is my first time really casting them. I've seen them in action before, but never had the pleasure. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, and I'm sure you are very excited about that. Something I know about Solaire is that when I was taking a look at their statistics, and aside from their most successful map like Split, they seem to succeed on maps like Bind and Ascent. And Ascent was a map that we continuously saw in yesterday's match. And Tala, I am so happy that you didn't have to see yesterday's match because we were always on Ascent. Always on
Oh
Ascent,
god.
I repeat. So,
Oh.
just speaking to you a little bit, Tala, what do you think Skill Issue could do to counter Solaire, and what plays do you think we'll be seeing coming out from Solaire?
Well, it's hard to say. I definitely think that if you can, you try to pick the maps that they're not as strong on. Maybe you try to pick a Fracture, or maybe even bring out a Pearl, because when you are a team that hasn't been together as long, you like to play those puggier maps. And while Pearl does really does benefit from the set plays, it's a lot easier to work around the fact that you maybe don't have as much experience or teamwork, just by the fact that you can confuse them by using the mid area of Pearl. Or I think the B site on Pearl is also a site that is really conducive to just 5-man pushes right down long, right into the lobby and in the front of site.
Absolutely. And speaking of maps, let's go ahead and take a look at the picks and bans here. Zach, go ahead and kick it off. Tell us what we have.
Map number 1 is going to be Icebox, which is going to be Solaire starting off on defense there. This is one of their weaker maps. In fact, arguably their weakest map. They have only a 36% win rate on this particular one, so definitely a good call coming in. But for map number 2 Solaire, they've decided to stick to their strengths. They have gone in for Breeze. I think because of the bans coming in, Haven and Ascent are going to be off the board. So it's interesting that they have gone in for Breeze as opposed to, say, a map that they're more comfortable on, because Bind is still on the table, and so is a Fracture, but they still opt to go in for Breeze, which is really interesting to me, seeing that their win percentage on that particular map is not exactly the greatest either.
Absolutely. And what are your thoughts here, Epitomes? Any predictions on your end?
Well, like you said before, Solaire would be a really exciting team to be able to make it to the finals, since they have proven themselves, some of the players on the team as well, since Solaire kind of has had a little bit of a rotating door with the players coming to and fro. But I definitely think that Solaire might be able to come out on top of this one, even if Icebox is one of their weaker maps. I think that Icebox can be played in a way where you kind of can just benefit from the fact that if you start on that defense, you will be able to get so many rounds in that as soon as you switch over onto the attack, things become a lot easier and there's a lot less pressure there.
And that's something both Zach and I saw last match. We saw the capitalization on defense for Icebox. And then again, I just wanted to highlight how high the stakes are for all of these teams. They're all competing for a $1,500 prize pool, and now they're going to have to be choosing the agents, the weapons, and all of the above to make sure that they have what it is for their team to succeed. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Agent Select. I'm going to let both you, Tala, and Zach take it away.
Whew. All right, then let's head into map number 1 between Skill Issue and Solaire. On Icebox Solaire, they have a pretty standard comp that they like running around, and it seems like that's going to be the case. Though Hyper Z is considering replacing Rafsaja with a Neon. In fact, a little bit of messing around is going to be happening, as the they do enjoy confusing us casters quite a bit. But at the end of the day, they are going to be sticking to their default comp. But do you think Alpha is really going to play a Cypher there, Tala?
Well, I definitely think that Cypher is one of those picks that you don't see as much, and because you don't really worry about those utility heavy sentinels, since you see so much Sage and so much Chamber being played over a lot of the time Cypher, who has basically fallen out of grace with the meta, then you don't really look out for those cages and those trips. So it can be a pick. It definitely is a pick. I don't want to say it's a strong pick, just because of the fact that having that Cypher means that you can't cover as many angles, even if you are a strong single site sentinel. But they have locked in both the Sage as well as the Chamber and the Neon on the other side. And I'm very surprised by the Neon pick, because Neon is one of those, I feel, very niche agents and really gets the chance to shine when you have her paired up with a Breach, because Breach can cover those long angles with the flashpoints and the fault lines, and Neon can follow that up very quickly. But without that kind of initiation ability, I feel like Neon loses a lot of her strength, because while Sova and KO can have those flashes, they can have the info gathering, following that up with a Neon just isn't as safe, because her high gear doesn't allow her to have her gun while it's out.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult, considering that this is also a map where you'd like to have an agent that can really play the elevations on it, because, with the Jet, you do have that advantage. You're going to be able to hold those aggressive angles, play from above. Even the updrops can find a lot of value. But this is Solaire, of course. I'm sure they have a rationale behind what exactly they're doing here. And aside from that, it is going to be a pretty standard comp. No Sage available for them. They are going to be opting to go in for this double initiator pick instead, which is something that we're increasingly seeing on this particular map. Leah, as well as I believe it's a solo player, are going to be starting things off towards a little bit of mid presence. That 0 point, though, not going to be really finding anything. It is going to give away that the push is in fact coming towards B as that trademark gets broken down, and with that Sage wall going down, it looks like Skill Issue, they're going to be able to get this the planter on the B side for free. It's going to be a full 5-1-5 retake here.
And now we actually have 2 coming in on the flank, because they destroyed that the trademark is still up. So they're not really aware that they're there, but as soon as that trademark goes down, we have 2 players just watching it here. Hyper's trying to wrap around the corner. Patero is able to find that one player with the headhunter, and Hyper secures their own. Alpine, however, rings back with their own headhunter, and Jenna trying to hold on the flank. These last 2 flank players are their only hope for Solaire on this first round. Time is already so low, no choice but to stick it here, and Taro really has to trust in Hypers, and while the 2 picks swing Hypers' way, there's no time for the spike to be defused. Solaire finding that, or Skill Issue finding that first round.
Yeah, the retake came in and it was pristine, but there just wasn't enough time by the end of it. Unfortunately for Hyper Z, their teammate wasn't exactly watching the right angle, and as a result of that, it is going to be there's not going to be enough time for the defuse, considering that they weren't able to stick half. But it's okay. It's just a pistol. We're just starting out here. Hyper Z is going to be able to buy up that Sheriff with the 3 kills that they got on that particular round. As for the side of Skill Issue there, though, they are going to be fully investing in this anti-eco. I see a Vandal as well as a Bulldogs and Spectres as well. So at this juncture, any kind of gun that Solaire can take off these players comes from Skill Issue is going to be a huge W by itself. The economic damage is going to be their focus, if not winning this round outright, considering that they no longer have the guns for it. It is going to be the A site that has been pushed up on slowly but meticulously, though. The wall goes down, and yet again, it is going to be Pagey getting the plant, and yet again, it's going to be Solaire in this 5v5 retake.
5v5 on the retake again. That wall offering a really safe plant, but a 1-for-1 trade. That's nice for Chai. still just taking any guns off the board. Alpine up top on 410 is able to find 2, and Peiji with that Vandal. Sango just tracking Leah across those ropes, and now it's up to Taro. Ooh, nice shot with the Headhunter. Able to pick up the Spectre now and try to clear out. Alpine is able to do it, but Peiji from jail is able to get that last pick. Still, such huge economic damage from Solaire. This is a really good bonus now for Solaire to win.
Yeah, they're going to be left with only a Bulldog and a Vandal. At least they managed to hold on to the Vandal. That's going to be a huge plus heading into this bonus round for Skill Issue. But with them losing 3 of their players, they're faced with a dilemma right now. Do we optimize our buy? Do we invest in this round? Or do we just go for the bonus? And the answer to that seems to be the latter right now. They're only going to be playing for the bonus this time around. As for Solaire, though, they're finally going to be having their full buy in order. Neither of these teams really have the ults up ready, but both Taro as well as Alpine, they are going to be only 2 away from that tour de force right off the bat. It is going to be Sango leading the charge here on top of the tube. Goes for the shot, but is not able to connect it. Does a lot of damage to Leah, though, but it's still going to be Leah who closes out the kill. Taro there for the backup as well. This mid push not exactly working out. Taro with 3 on the round. What a beautiful hold from Solaire. Flawless to boot.
I really love how Taro played that. Leah also right next to her. And the thing is, Leah from behind is just throwing those flash drives. And that you have people who are speaking to Patero. And since, I keep saying Patero, but I just read things the way that they're written. Even though I know it's wrong. But Taro just not being effective by the flash drives, some really nice teamwork that we saw there. And this round, they're going to be able to buy back into the rifles. And it's guns across the board, so right now is really a test of which team is going to be able to come out on top of the rifle round. We have the tour de force also being pocked by Taro already, just to give a little bit of extra firing power. Hyper doing some spotting and definitely sees a player on the belt, while Alpine slowly aggressing up the ropes and being the tip of the spear. Chamber, Duelist, first person in, and getting that first pick onto Chai as well. Sango is going to follow up with a kill onto Hyper, and all of a sudden it's a 3v5 situation.
Yeah, Solaire's defense completely fell apart. Getting that first pick, especially that being the Viper, was crucial there for Skill Issue to really force the issue onto this particular site. Right now, though, it is going to be a 3v5 retake. The tour de force is going to be available for Taro, but the positioning being held from these players for the side of Skill Issue, it's going to make it very difficult for them to really get this retake going. In fact, it's just going to be Taro that's alone in this 1v4 situation right now. How much more can they really find is going to be the question. And as they try to push through the smoke, it is going to be Alpine who sees the tip of the barrel and will be able to get that last kill as well. Skill Issue find their way to 3. Their first full buy round really working out, but off the back of that Solaire, they're going to be investing heavily in this. In fact, Taro is going to have an operator. To be fair, Alpine would as well. It's just that the tour de force versus an actual operator, we might see a head-to-head battle here.
We see that Taro is playing the B site though, and you commonly really see those chambers trying to play the A site so you can get that off angle on top of Generator, but this time it's a good read. It seems like Skill Issue are trying to posture a little bit to more towards that B site instead. Really aggressive angle here, being held by Taro. Just needs to wait for someone to come through garage. Ooh, this is a good choice. Use the drone just in case of the operator. Push them out of position. And Skill Issue, they've made their way through main. And they're getting so much value out of the Sova right now. Being able to force people off the angles and just clear out everything from a safe distance. And also now a free plant, it's looking like, for Skill Issue. Habibi, though, on the flank. And a partner nearby. It's Hypers. We've seen this play before onto the B site, Zach.
Yeah, we did, and yet again, Jenna is going to be the first contact with the Hyper sliding in. Not able to quite connect the pick, though, unfortunately, and that is going to be Jenna going absolutely huge there, buying so much time. Sango there for the backup as well. It is going to come down to just Habibti here. Just find one. How much more damage can they do is the question, because with the clock being run down to such an extent, it's going to be incredibly difficult for this retake to really work out in this 1v4. Speaking one by one, isolates the fight, gets a second as well onto Zoe. gets a third headshot. BT at this point, even if there's no time, they're going to be trying to do their best to make this round as expensive as possible, hunting for the last two players right now, and they're both low. In fact, BT could very well get all of the kills in this particular lobby, but skill issue, they're not going to force the issue here. They will be holding onto their rifles as they get themselves to their fourth round. But looking at how they play that, again, they're so methodical and patient about it, but they're also unrelenting. They use their utility, they gain that space, and then they're not afraid to commit to it. Also, just these first bloods coming in favor constantly for the side of skill issue is huge. Both Alpine as well as Sango are constantly able to just get that first pick.
And now Solaire being pretty broke, they're pretty much forced to give up another round, and unfortunately going to miss that early poison orb lineup. Taro with the headhunter trying to find first blood, trying to find value constantly, but it's just not able to at this time. Hypers though, they want to go a little bit more aggressive. Alpine's holding on to that op that they picked up from last round. The poison orb though going to block the crossover towards that A site, and they're trying to get up onto the advantageous angles on top of VT. Can they do it this time? Pagey just shuts them down after one kill, and it's a trade. And not even a trade with the resurrection, while Alpine anchors the flank.
The operator is singing right now. Already one on the round. Can they get the second? No. Taro instead is going to strike with that headhunter. Two players left alive for Solaire. Leah has to go huge to hold onto this, but it's not going to happen. And almost 360 coming in from the Sova for skill issue is going to barely stay alive because of some nutty movement there. It's all down to just Taro. No headhunter bullets left either. Just the classic to work with. And unfortunately, that's not going to hold up against Zoe's Phantom. It is going to be skill issue fighting their fifth round here, taking a massive lead 5-1. And right now, with the full buy kicking in yet again for Solaire, they do have the benefit of having 4 ultimates to work with. That Viper Spit as well as that null command can prove to be really useful as a deterrent for the push, while Habibti's Hunter's Fury can dislodge players if they're trying to get the spike down.
This is a pretty stacked ultimate lineup that we see, and I'm really interested in how we're going to see that overdrive being used in particular, because we said that Neon doesn't really have as much impact, especially since Icebox just isn't a very open map, and it's not really that easy to get across angles and just dash up onto someone with the high gear. But now Habibti trying to get some early information with that owl drone. Also gives away their own position though. Chai, trying to find one. Taro swings around for that trade. It's nicely done so far, using the rendezvous to get out quickly. Taro still trying to hold a bit more of an aggressive angle, and now Leah running up for the backup with the help of that null command. But skill issue is just going to go for the rotation. It's a little bit of an early null command since they haven't committed to the site just yet. It doesn't really force them to do anything except to rotate, and Zoe's also spotted out Hypers.
Deploying drone.
That's a great recon. The drone is going to be invested as well to just make sure that all of these pesky corners are cleared out and there's nobody who's really going to be waiting in a corner lying to capitalize on their positioning. It is yet again going to be the Neon tagged up. The wall will go down. The spike tries to go down. Jenna does manage to in fact get it down before being taken out by that Hunter's Fury. So with the help of that ultimate, Solaire do find at least the woman advantage or the person advantage heading into this particular round. Hypers finds a gap in the wall, trying to peek off of it, seeing what exactly they can do, but can't push out completely, so they will be forced to break. It does still have that wall available from the Neon, so that might be pretty useful. It is going to be the recon spotting out all of these players, so Hypers is able to stick half the spike. Spray is good. It's all down to just Alpine as well as the counterpart here, but unfortunately Zoe is not going to be able to connect everything. Alpine does manage to hold on to the op, but Solaire, they swing back after, I believe it was 3 consecutive losses in the row. They finally managed to find a round, and it only took 2 ultimates.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think Habibti taking down the planter, which was Jenna, means that they're able to negate the possibility of post-plant lineups, and also the fact that they only isolated it down to Alpine because it wasn't in such a good position that Alpine could play a very open angle, and since they were able to isolate so well, it means that Solaire gets that defuse basically for free. It's a different site now though. Skill Issue want to try the B site instead since they've found a lot of success in previous rounds, and Taro looks away for a second, not really sure what happened there, but Sango just takes her down without so much of a sweat, and they're going back towards A. Peiji already clearing out the front of A lobby, but hasn't really looked towards site yet, waiting on that dart, see what it sees, and that's nothing. Leah's just sitting behind stairs, behind the wall, making sure that she doesn't get spotted, but those gunshots, they're definitely going to give her away.
Yeah, it is going to be the spike going down, and the Viper's Pit invested as well by Jenna to make sure that this round really works out in their favor. The drone from Habiti is not going to be really able to find any value, unfortunately, as the players are playing too far away right now. There is going to be a slow push into the Viper's Pit, but Zoe picks out the right time to take down Hypers. Spike is tapped, but the spray is good, and the Viper's Pit is going to be derailed. The counter pit as well is going to be invested by the Solaire players. Just like that, it's going to be Alpine on the lurk, who has to do everything here. Only a classic to work with the operator, not exactly going to be conducive in that close range, and what looked like an impossible round for Solaire. They bring it back off the back of being able to find that pick onto the Viper. A beautiful retake, 3-5.
And Solaire, they're pushing their advantage a little bit more now. Taro's going to pick up the operator once again. Even this time, Skill Issue, even though they're securing their first bloods, they're not really able to capitalize off them very well. Since they can't convert, they don't continue to push the advantage onto the site. They rotate around pretty quickly with the knowledge that Solaire also tends to back off sites and don't anchor very well. But the fact is that you're going to have a lot more players on the retake very quickly as well. Now they're using that poison orb, blocking off mid. It's a high KO flash, but unfortunately double flashed is Sango, and that double updraft isn't going to find anyone in B main protected by the flash drives. Now Zoe pushed up, trying to be the tip of the spear. That recon bolt isn't going to be up for quite a while, so now has to look back onto perhaps the owl drone, but Chai is playing pretty passively, and Solaire's strategy is mostly here to do retakes. They don't like to fight for the sites as much unless you're Taro, who has that rendezvous and free quick escape.
Definitely the case, and I like how slow Skill Issue are taking this. Yet again, Peiji on the lurk, able to just walk up into the A side, but it seems like Habibti is aware of the possibility. Oh my god, that shot almost connected. The knife is going to shut down the Blade Storm for Sango as well, so that's going to make it very rough for them to force the issue onto this B side. A is going to be where they set their sights instead, though Hypers is ready with the flank here, watching for the cross, and that's going to be crucial information conveyed right now. The spike on its way towards this A side, however, is going to be met by opposition because there are two players holding a crossfire right now, both Habibti as well as, I believe that's the Opper on Alpine holding strong. Chai though will be taken down in the meantime. Zoe finding one of their own. It's all down to just Taro here, who is still holding strong. Has backup from Hypers as well, who slides in with the Neon utility. Just like that, the round falls apart for Skill Issue. It's all down to just Alpine, and with that suppression coming in and the clock running out, I think that they're just going to be holding on to that operator and taking it into the next round.
Well, that's not surprising. Once again, Alpine trying to hold on to that operator, and they're really good at being that tip of the spear, getting into these sites. But as soon as you have them holding a little bit less aggressively with that operator, I think it's actually hurting Skill Issue, because I think MILF Alpine was able to find a lot of value by just being up in their faces and using that rendezvous a lot more aggressively, so you can have basically another Jet who is already into the site and can just dash out, but without that aggression, and now Solaire, knowing that Alpine has that operator, they're not going to peek them. They're just going to try and back off, play a little safer, and then play for the retakes and make sure to isolate the long angles, use the flash drive as well as that Sova utility to knock them out of these good angles. So I definitely think they just need that aggression from Alpine, and they're not getting it with the operator.
they've been very patient so far, and you know I like this from Solaire. They realize that fighting for the site it doesn't exactly do them much good unless of course you're Chai who just casually manages to take down Zoe. But most of the time that they've fought for the site, they've been punished exactly like this. The operator is going to be singing for both of the chamber players here. Solaire going for these retakes as well as trying to just hold on to the side. The retakes has worked out for them statistically more often than anything else. It is going to be Chai playing up close, gets the beautiful consecutive headshots there as she's able to really connect that spray transfer. It's all down to just Alpine yet again, this time in a 1v4. The spike dropped in the middle of sight. The crossfire being held by these Solaire players is immaculate, and the flank is coming in as well to make things worse. Hyper Z is just ready, watching. The sound cue from Alpine stepping down is going to be heard, and Solaire, nevertheless, the discipline coming in is insane. With 15 seconds left on the clock, it is going to be Chai who swings out and gets that last pick. 4 all the round for them, and a beautiful hold coming in from Solaire. And remember, they were 5-1 at some points, but they've managed to come back and equalize scores here. That is huge coming in from them.
And you see on the scoreboard both of the chambers just completely fragging out here. But I mean, Chai, that last round was super instrumental. Being able to get that spray transfer was really a tipping point of this round. And now we're forcing skill issue onto this eco with only Zoe having a Vandal and enough to buy into the next round. And this is important for them to save here because the last round and a half, you really want to save everything for that. Just that last hurrah so you can bring some momentum into your next half. And Solaire, they're doing pretty decently on the defense, especially considering you said this was a 30% win rate map for them. So them being able to hold their ground pretty significant here.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they are going up against, again, like Solaire is a team that has a lot of experience, and over time they are going to improve. And despite the statistics saying 36%, they're definitely doing a great job here on this attacking, on this defense front. I'm sorry, but yeah, like you mentioned, the economy in a very rough spot for skill issue. No Bladestorm or really for Sango to work with to try and push forward into 3 players up towards Tube. Alpine with the headhunter tries to connect the shot, but it's not going to really work out. That 0 points as well being broken is going to give away information that there are players inside this tube area. Page is going to be rushing it towards the site, and at least skill issue, if they are careful about it, they might be able to get a plant down, but they're going to be surrounded on all sides by these Solaire players right now. Liao with the spray connecting a few bullets, doing a little bit of damage. Sango though is going to be the one to get that first pick. Page as well with the Sheriff going huge here. The trade backs are quick though. Things are going to come back to a 2v2. The overdrive kicks into high gear, and Hyper Z is able to take down Zoe. It's all down to just Pagey here in this 1v2 situation. Spike is still being stuck. It does get the kill, but the trade is there, and just like that, Solaire, they take the lead back 1-5 to 6-5. 6 rounds in a row for them. What a play.
That was incredibly expensive for Solaire though, because they were against an eco and they're still able to narrow it down to a 1v2, leaving only 1 player left standing at the end of that round. But now looking at the economy for Solaire, they have that operator in the Tour de Force, and on the other side, Skill Issue has both the Tour de Force, the Hunter's Fury, and the Resurrection. So Pagey being able to make that into once again a 6v5 is just a very incredible superpower. Hopefully they get a chance to use it though, because that Resurrection can give away a lot of info here. And Pagey tending to play aggressive right next to Sango this jet. So if they are the first to go down, then it is going to be a rough round for Skill Issue.
They are going to be walking it up towards mid, and Leah aware of the possibility, but they might not exactly be sure where these players are. The Hunter's Fury though is going to do so much damage, already finding a pick, but the shots are good. Zoe finding 2 of her own to stabilize. Hyper Z aware of the push, getting 2 for themselves somehow. It's going to come down to a 1v2 clutch right now. It's all down to just the chamber here. Taro having a lot of work to do, does have the Tour de Force like you mentioned, as well as that Vandal, the spike being planted on top by Alpine. If they take the zipline, they're going to be spotted out. That's going to be the headshot for Taro. Now it's going to come down to a 1v1. Is aware of the possible position. The Joan being taken as well is going to give away Zoe's position. That's going to make things even more difficult right now. But Taro with the Tour de Force, all they have to do is really hold this angle. Once the peak comes out, it is going to be the recombo broken. Damage to the wallbang attempt being done here. Taro goes for the stick, tries to get it to half, spots out the leg of the player again, doing so much damage to Zoe right now. Okay, yeah. That was the most patient play, most patient 1v2 I've seen coming in from a player there, especially that last wallbang shot. I think that more shots were done through the wallbangs than anything else by a Taro, and a beautiful clutch to get Solaire the lead in this half. But, you know, I feel you over that round. Like, I'm just stunned.
A gift.
Spike down A.
Hey.
Toxins going up, poisons off. Toxin screen down.
One enemy remaining. Spike down B.
I can't miss.
Again, the crossfire being held by these players from skill issue is going to be made at least that they do manage to retrieve the spike, but now they're gonna have to try and figure out how to isolate these 1v1s exactly heading into this particular round. They don't want to really risk it. They do get a headshot onto Zoe though as they go for the retake, and off the back of that they are also going to know the position of the other player, because that trademark is going to give away where exactly the Viper is right now. Of course, Taro is not exactly sure whether they're going to be coming in from B main or mid. They're going to have to be very careful while watching these angles. But Jenna right now has to figure out where the spike is planted first, and off the back of that has to find the timing on the Taro. But oh no, the TP is in the open. Luckily, they are able to swing back towards CT and stay alive. Taro tries to go for the peak, but Jenna will connect the shot at the end, and that was a very doable round for the side of Solaire, but Jenna closes it out, and just like that, skill issue, they are looking to close the gap here.
Not a bad first round either if you consider the economic damage, but it's a pistol, and I feel like economic damage doesn't matter as much, but at least being able to get that spike down gives you a little bit of extra economy to maybe buy an upgraded pistol or a few more bullets in the Headhunter if you are Taro, to maybe try and just even out the numbers. But skill issue, it has the chance to equalize the rounds. This is 6-7, and they also have the buy up. We are looking at Hypers picking up that Frenzy, a few other pistols across the board, just a few ghosts and light shields for Taro, but on the other side the Guardian is going to contest those long ranges incredibly well, and the Singer has been incredibly deadly as of late, so having that gun in your arsenal is for sure a good addition to your economy.
Is the case, and like you mentioned, I like that you talked about the Stinger, because increasingly, you know, we just see a pick rate of it in champions going up, and ever since the buff came in, I've been getting it more and more in my rankings, and it's such a menace to really play against. And right now, though, it is going to be Paige finding the first pick, Sango joining them in the process. Off the back of that, at least the B side is going to be found a little bit open, but Jenna is still anchoring it and is able to find a pick. The last two players for Solaire are going to be pushing up Jenna. All they have to do is stay alive while the backup comes in, able to find another pick to their name. It's all down to just Leah in this 1v4. Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to find anything more. That Spectre is going to be retrieved as well, so skill issue make it through the round without any economic damage, which is going to be huge considering that in this bonus they're not really opting to buy in. You do see Alpine picking up that I believe that is a Guardian, but aside from that, they're going to have enough for a full buy next round as well.
And now a full buy into the next round. This is just, I mean, skill issue, they're really good at these early rounds. They're able to pick up a lot of momentum, and Solaire, I feel like, takes some time for them to adapt to what's happening and try and get their foot into the door. Now Sango holding an aggressive angle with the Marshall, whiffs the shot onto Taro, and that poison orb goes up as well, blocking off that Raptors position. A lot of utility now being thrown onto the site. Hyper's already under Raptors and now staring right into screens. Sango tries to take a few shots with the Marshall. The pot shots aren't going to connect, and Leah now looking towards screens. It's up to Alpine and Jenna though on the flank to maybe pinch these attackers in. Haven't triggered the trademark, are actually able to wrap around it with the help of a poison orb, and now Alpine, even with the Guardian, isn't able to get in, and Hyper's just dancing around with the overdrive. Now it's all left up to Zoe. I saw the stinger in her hands. I was like, that's winnable, but it doesn't seem like it this time.
Yeah, especially Hyper Z being able to connect that frag, even though they're sliding right into the player's lap, is huge. They're a flawless round. That means that all of these rifles are going to be carried over by Solaire into the next round, meaning that their economy is going to be incredibly bolstered by that. Looking at the ults available though, Jenna has a crucial one up. That Viper's Pit might make or break this round. It can certainly be used to hold off one particular site on its own. Also, on this buy round coming in, Sango is going to be investing in that operator's boots, so definitely something to watch out for. It is going to be a quick push coming in from Solaire towards this mid area as they book it over towards the B side. Jenna going to be spotted out. However, Alpine is there for the backup and manages to find two of their own. Zoe towards Tube, connecting yet another one, and just like that, Solaire's attack falls apart here. Two remaining players right now. It's all down to just Leah as well as Hyper Z. They are going to be able to retrieve the spike now that Alpine has rendezvoused away. But aside from that, they don't really have much map control or knowledge to really work with. Sango with the operator as well towards CT, making things worse right now. Will spot out Hyper Z and will be able to get that pick. It's all down to just Leah here in this 1v4 situation. Does at least have control of the spike, so that is something. But if they decide to walk into this B site, it's going to be so much danger right now. Speaking of danger, Sango narrowly escapes with their life there. But yeah, with 45 seconds left on the clock, Solaire could possibly attempt for a regroup. Instead, though, it is going to be Leah trying to find a pick or two, possibly. Not going to be finding anything as Alpine with a 3k shuts it down. And you know, Alpine's positioning during that particular round, being able to get those two picks towards B main was just incredibly huge for that team.
That's a good spot.
And skill issue, they're once again able to pick up the round on their buy-up, and they also have that operator that can continue to snowball this team to victory. Snowball, Icebox, get it? I apologize.
It's okay. I'm laughing as well.
Ooh, Taro has popped that tour de force. Sango goes down immediately. Operator threat neutralized, meaning that they can go a little bit more freely and traverse this map, but they do have to worry about the B site because you have the Alpine, who is such a huge threat on the side of skill issue, holding a really aggressive angle. But no worries, it seems like they want to go towards that A site, and because of that Viper's Pit, it's going to make things a lot harder. Spike is headed towards mid, can make rotations towards kitchen, towards that B site. Alpine has picked up the operator as well. Chai actually whiffs the shot, and Alpine brought down to 30 HP. Now Taro, though, looking towards under tube, is unable to capitalize more with the tour de force, but Hypers just trades onto the enemy chamber so easily with the high gear. Now B site open for them once again, this time having a player walk through B main just to clear out, make sure no one's hiding in those corners, and they're just not going to make that a mistake again. But Chai's not expecting someone to walk up on them tube. Hypers now playing aggressive in Snowman while the rest of the two players come in through mid.
Yeah, this Leah's position here is going to be incredible right now. Does get spotted out, unfortunately, but nevertheless is going to be able to maintain this crossfire with a BT who gets two of their own. Zoe manages to get that trade, but Leah swings on contact and will regain the lead for Solaire. This map is going neck and neck here, Tala, and it's just a testament to how good both of these teams are. Looking into this particular round, though, they both are going to be able to afford to buy two crucial ultimates online for the side of Solaire, with with a third as well. Both that Hunter's Fury as well as that Viper's Pit are ready to go, and getting rid of getting a retake done when that Viper's Pit is in play can be so incredibly difficult. As for the side of Skill Issue, they do have the Hunter's Fury of their own as well as that Bladestorm. Sango with the operator holding this aggressive angle is not going to be able to connect that first shot onto Hyper Z here. Will be forced to fall off the angle and use the dash as well. It is going to be the overdrive committed right off the bat here as they go into the site. The null command as well being invested along with the Viper's Pit is going to make this round so difficult for Skill Issue to really retake here. And just like that, it's going to be a full 5-1-5 retake. Hyper Z, the first point of contact going down. How much more can Sango find with this operator though, with this Viper's Pit?
The Viper's Pit is going to make the operator pretty hard ask here from Skill Issue, and they've already waited for quite a bit. They're going to use that Hunter's Fury. They're trying to get themselves a little bit of value. The operator actually does find one more. Bladestorm immediately expended. Leah knows there's one nearby. Here's the reload. One bullet left on Leah. Zoe comes in from behind. Chai, though, it's their Viper's Pit. It's their world, and it's also a Hunter's Fury to close things out. Solaire, they get double digits.
Ooh, that was a beautiful round coming in from them on the execute, and all of those ultimates being invested is going to at least be a sigh of relief for Skill Issue, because now they don't have to worry about them coming back in this next round here. However, the economy is going to be completely broken right now. It's dismantled for the side of Skill Issue. They do have the Tour de Force for Alpine to work with, but aside from that, not much else left in the bank. Marshall for Sango, I suppose, and pistols all across the board. All of the players, in fact, from the side of Skill Issue, with the exception of the Chamber, are gonna be pushing mid as well as holding down towards ACT. However, the mid push isn't going to really find any value here, as knowing perhaps of the economic deficit, Solaire are just going to be booking it towards this A side. Joan will clear out a lot of these pivotal angles, and with the help of this wall, it is going to be yet again Solaire almost getting this site for free here.
Solaire was really just allowed to run onto that site, but it's not like a bad idea for Skill Issue to just give it, because looking at the way they just throw and dump all their utility onto A, it's probably a better idea to just let them expend. But since they're on an eco round, it doesn't make as much of a difference. Hypers! Oh, what? Oh no. Whips the shots onto Zoe, but it's okay. The rest of the teammates are there, and Alpine, despite using the Tour de Force, only finds one. A clean round for Solaire.
That's just what they've needed. Solaire's a team that does perform very well when the momentum is in their favor, and they've been building it up over the course of the last 3 rounds of winning 3 in a row. This is going to be Skill Issue's last chance to really bring it back here. They don't have any major ultimates to work with, though Peiji is only one away from that resurrection, but they do have Alpine on that operator there. However, yet again, it is going to be B where the Chamber is playing with the op, and the execute seems to be coming towards this A side instead. This time around, though, there is going to be a 3-stack on the side, so Solaire, I doubt that they're going to be allowed to just wall salt the side like they've been doing for the last few rounds. It is going to be the drone invested, does spot out one player. However, it does not check on top of the box. In fact, it goes past Sango here, who's allowed to hold their position. Off the back of this null command, they make their way forward. However, Sango through the wall peeks out. Isn't going to be able to find anything right now until that wall goes down. And Hyper Z, in fact, will be able to find the pick on the lurk, taking down Alpine, and the rotation is called for. There's nobody on this B side, and it seems like Solaire knows it, because they're just going to be running it down and getting the spike plant just like that.
I like this play from Solaire as well, to have that Chamber plant the spike, use the rendezvous to get out and anchor for a better position. But trying to get some value first, we have both Taro and their Viper just sitting right underneath. That's Shy. But Habibi coming in on that late lurk through mid. They had to know that Sova was going to be coming in a little later than everyone else, because they were so pushed up with that drone. But now Habibi just has such a good spot in mid. It's all left up to Peiji now, able to find 1v2 situation. Now can make it a 2v2 with the resurrection, but down to 15 HP. With the heal, it's a little bit more than that, but deciding to just pick up the operator and save with the time so low, looking for an exit. Hypers? You okay?
Match
The
point.
spike does its part to take a player down, but Solaire, they're not sweating it. They have a robust economy in place. Everybody is going to be able to buy in. In fact, if they want to, they can even have 3 operators across the board. They're not going to do that, but the possibility is there. That's how rich their economy is. In contrast, for the side of skill issue, they are really scraping the bottom of the barrel here. They do have that operator, which Paiji managed to save. So that is going to be the one benefit heading into this particular round. But aside from that, it is going to be a very fragmented buy. Only one Vandal available for Paiji. Everybody else is going to be on Guardians, Bulldogs, and the like. Alpine finally with the operator where the execute is coming. The question is, can they really find value off of it? Again, peeks out, but is not going to be able to find the pick. Unfortunately, the shot not quite connecting. Taro, in turn, though, will be able to find Sango. It's going to be 1-for-1 trades coming in very quickly, though. Jenna will shut down the lurk here, so Solaire are going to be left at a person deficit here, even as the spike goes down. A 3v4 retake right now for skill issue.
Yeah, they have to be able to back off now with the tour de force, but Hypers is going to be playing around the generator boxes. Paige and Zoe, though, Taro has been able to back off, but 1v4 situation seems like a really tall task, especially with Zoe holding down the defuse. Might be able to find all the kills, but can't find Zoe! And Zoe, with the nick of time, keeps skill issue in the game, 12-9.
That was a close round, and they managed to, I think unfortunately for them, they are going to be losing that operator as well, so that's going to make things worse. But hey, at least they got the round, right? That's what really matters at the end of the day. 12-9, like you mentioned, 3 more for the possibility of overtime, and yet again, the buy is less than ideal for these players coming in from skill issue here. Jenna does have that Viper Spit available, though, and if the B execute is coming in, they might be able to put it down and possibly buy some time for the rotation. Right off the bat, though, it is going to be the recon spotting them out. They are going to know that there is at least one player towards this B side, and the wall is going to be committed, as well as the Viper's pits. So that is going to be a major ultimate that's been gotten out. In the meantime, look at the position from Alpine here. Not already completely willing to aggress out, take control of a lobby, and really catch anybody who's rotating off guard here. With 1 minute left on the clock, I think Solaire are considering what exactly they want to do here, weighing their options really.
Solaire, they're playing a little bit more slowly. You usually see them try and turn up the pace in the rounds by using all their util and just comboing very well. But ooh, Chai swinging right out to take down Zoe. And now we have that little less info since you don't have that initiator, and Alpine is going to go down as well. You still have the Sage as a sentinel, but Hypers, what is this positioning? Just able to wrap around and walk up onto that B site with no trademark to help out. It just means that they're allowed to go where they please. Now Sango with the Guardian is able to take down Hypers, but still a lurk happening from Taro, looking from the kitchen, is able to take it to 13-9.
That was an insanely close matchup coming in between both of these teams, but I think once they switched over to the attacking half, Solaire just looked so much more confident. They were able to really swing together those rounds, and I think that about for 3 rounds in a row, they were just allowed to waltz into A with almost no opposition. So I think that really contributed in helping them regain the lead and build up that momentum. You know, this is amazing considering that they were down 1-5 at the start of this map.
Yeah, they definitely, I mean, it's quite a comeback from the start, but since they ended that half 7-5, I really think it was all about that early game, all about those early rounds on the defense to try and build up enough rounds so they don't have to be a very passive team on the attack, so they can really go all in and not have to worry about not having any buffer on that match point and bring it to 13-9. A pretty nice scoreline for map 1, but it is only map 1. We still have Breeze to go, and we will be right back with that map after a very quick break.